The first NBA Finals appearance for LeBron James in the Miami Heat 2011 NBA Finals. The script was in a rematch of the 2006 NBA Finals. The referees and Dwyane Wade screw over Mark Cuban, Dirk Nowitzki, and the Dallas Mavericks. 5 years later, 2011, the league gives a little payback in WWE fashion. The Dallas Mavericks get their payback in revenge fashion against the most hated team in the NBA because LeBron left Cleveland for Miami. He became the most polarized figure. It was a scripted championship. LeBron threw away Game 4. NBA is nothing but scripted entertainment. This is all theater. One of the Heat's acquisitions of their big three, Chris Bosh, was born over at Dallas, Texas. The Dallas native ends up losing his first NBA Finals over at Dallas, Texas. This is how you knew the NBA was pre-planned before the season started. Chris Bosh, born March the 24th, adds up to 27. In gematria, the practice of translating words and letters into numbers, it is Miami that has gematria of 27. This is why Chris Bosh played for the Miami Heat. J.J. Barea, a really big star three-point shooter, also has gematria of 27. Now keep in mind about something else too. March the 24th of the year 11 adds up to 38. That's the gematria of Florida. Now the question is, in the 65th NBA Finals, why did that feature a team from Florida against the Dallas Mavericks? Why in the 65th NBA season? That's the first step to decoding the script according to the numerological code of gematria. Tyson Chandler was one of the big men on the Dallas Mavericks. Chandler has gematria of 65. LeBron, Dwyane Wade, and Chris Bosh in their first season over at the state of Florida for the Miami Heat ended up playing in the 65th NBA Finals. And what exactly is a Maverick? Well, a Maverick is a horse. It is horse that has gematria of 65. The team with the Mavericks, the horse logo, ended up winning the NBA Finals. How about the Matrix Shawn Marion, one of the many unsung hero veterans on the Dallas Mavericks in the year of the 65th NBA Finals? Shawn has gematria of 65. What was the storyline for the 65th NBA Finals? Dirk's revenge against the Miami Heat for the robbery during the scripted 2006 NBA championship that saw Shaquille O'Neal win a ring without Kobe as part of the NBA's scripted male soap opera. Dirk's revenge equals 65. An NBA Finals rematch indeed happened in 2011. The Mavs' revenge also has gematria of 65. The phrase Dallas won the title has gematria of 65. Now, what is the significance of the phrase Dallas won the NBA title? Well, this here, 2-17, February the 17th, is the birth of Michael Jordan. And this was going to be a really long pathway towards 6 NBA titles. The fact is LeBron couldn't three-peat with the Heat because of the fact that he had to win a championship in Cleveland, then end his career with a three-peat to tie Michael Jordan. Miami lost the finals with LeBron Ramon James, the Miami Heat's first ever NBA Finals loss in LeBron's first season with the Miami Heat. It was indeed a really big shocker. Rick Carlisle, coach of the Dallas Mavericks, ended up defeating the Miami Heat. The Heat were the villains. They were the team that everybody hated. Villain has gematria of 79. Miami Heat has gematria of 79. The fact is that they were the big villains. Not only is it villain that equals 34, but it is Heat itself that has gematria of 34. Indeed, the Heat was on for LeBron. No title. LeBron faced the Heat after he lost the NBA Finals. No pun intended. Mark Cuban was born on July the 31st day of the year, Jason Terry wore number 31 with the Dallas Mavericks. 2011 itself is a 31 year. In Gematria, it is the Heat that played in the 2011 NBA Finals. The matchup of the 2011 NBA Finals, a 31 year, was the Mavs against the Heat. Mavs versus Heat equals 31. And who was the MVP of the NBA Finals? It was the German Dirk Nowitzki. The NBA catering to its international audience. Nowitzki was the best player. He played hurt throughout the series. He was the Dallas Mavericks superstar, Hall of Fame player. He ended up winning. Now, the real last name of Mark Cuban is Chabinsky. Chabinsky has Gematria 43. His 2 NBA Finals appearances as owner against the Miami Heat. Miami Heat has Gematria of 43. Not only is it Heat that has Gematria of 34, but Mark Cuban's birthday in 1958 happens to add up to 34. This is why his 2 NBA Finals appearances ended up happening against the Miami Heat. His birthday, July the 31st, adds up to 38. As mentioned before, this is the singular Gematria of Florida. Next thing, July the 31st of 2010, his birthday before the next championship adds up to 68. This was his last birthday before winning the NBA title 11 months later, in the year 11, because it's championship that has Gematria of 68. This is how you knew Mark Cuban was going to win the rigged NBA title that year. I mean, the NBA is WWE. Chris Bosh, the Dallas native, loses to these guys. He loses to the Dallas Mavericks. And another thing with Chris Bosh, how old was he at that time? "27 years of age. He was 27 years of age in his first NBA Finals appearance. That is the Gematria of Miami. No coincidence that was his first NBA Finals appearance. Dallas, Texas, Chris Bosh facing off against the Mavericks. It was completely scripted to happen. And even his birthday numerology, March the 24th for the Dallas native of 2011, adds up to 13. What is significant about 13 is that Miami begins with the 13th letter, and recall that in Gematria it is Dallas. Dallas has Gematria of 13. This has to do, his birthday had to do with this place of birth. Now, the finals began on the 31st day of the year in a 31 year 2011. You can connect the pre-planned script with the date that the NBA Finals began. 68 days, 2 months and 7 days from Chris Bosh's birthday to the beginning of the NBA Finals. Once again, 68 is a championship in Pythagorean Gematria. 2 months and 7 days has to do with the fact that it's Miami that equals 27. So Chris Bosh, the Dallas native, was one of the biggest clues that it was going to be the Dallas Mavericks against the Miami Heat for that particular season. And then you can connect his birthday with the end of the NBA Finals on June the 12th of 2011. So we can do that. So in other words, the NBA Finals lasted 13 days for Dallas. In the next step in the day calculator sequence is LeBron's birthday in 2010 before the championship, when it was all said and done. 23 weeks later, the season ended. It was the Miami Heat's 23rd season. You can connect this birthday with the beginning of the NBA Finals, May the 31st. 5 months and 1 day, that's the Gematria of LeBron Raymond James. LeBron Raymond James in the calculator equals 51. I'm going to show you guys here in a second. LeBron Ramon James having gematria of 51. Let me just go through all of the references here so we're not just tagging back and forth and just zigzagging all over the place. Greatest NBA player as gematria of 72, LeBron James, revenge versus Miami. This is what happened. The meaning of 72 has to do with the fact that the 2010-2011 Miami Heat ended up winning a total of 13 games for the season. Or 14, I should say. The Heat's 72 wins had to do with the fact that the Dallas Mavericks got revenge to keep the Heat at 72 wins. Now notice that the Miami Heat started off with a 9-8 slow start to the season. They ended up winning a total of 58 games. It's interesting that the Dallas Mavericks defeated the Lakers to prevent them from winning a three-peat with Kobe Bryant. It is Los Angeles Lakers that has gematria 58. The Heat won 58 games that year. The Miami Heat has gematria of 58. With 12 wins in the Eastern Conference playoffs, the Miami Heat entered the NBA Finals with a total of 70 wins. It is because Dirk Nowitzki has gematria of 70. Dirk Nowitzki was the center of attention. America's NBA team that year was the Dallas Mavericks. Recall that in the National Football League we referred to the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. Well, in the NBA Finals, everybody was rooting against the Miami Heat except for LeBron fans. America's NBA team was the Dallas Mavericks. They were rooting for Dallas's revenge against the Miami Heat, and all of this 53 Pythagorean gematria meant that all of this was going to happen against King LeBron James. There were 64 prior NBA Finals. One player was going to end up with 0 rings. It is LeBron. It was LeBron that failed to live up to the crown of the king. And this 28 had everything to do with it right here. Now, the beginning of the NBA Finals on May the 31st of 2011, this is a date numerology of 47. Now, when I refer to the gematria of Christopher Bosh is a Dallas native. 67 also happens to be blood sacrifice. What are we talking about? It's the shaming of LeBron James during the early part of his Miami Heat career. This is what happened, was that LeBron had to lose in his first season. Is he ever going to win? Is this whole experiment going to work? It isn't going to be, oh, LeBron's going to win the next 6, 7, 8 championships. Just crown him every single year. No. That didn't happen. But when you look at the fact that the Miami Heat started out with a really slow start, 9-8, they finished 58-24. So in other words, the Miami Heat won 49 games throughout the rest of the regular season after starting out slow with a 9-8 record. This references to the fact that it is Dallas that has gematria of 49 in the gematria calculator. And recall that the NBA season began on October the 26th of 2010. October the 26th of 2010 is a 66 date numerology. 66 is the gematria of LeBron returning to the NBA Finals 4 years later, and the fact that it is the Dallas Mavericks that has gematria of 66. Let me show you where the 66 is at for the Dallas Mavericks. There it is, the Dallas Mavericks, gematria 66. The season began on a 66 date numerology. The rematch occurred between Miami and Dallas. Jason Terry, the Jet, played on that 2006 team. He's part of the rematch. Jason Terry and Dirk Nowitzki, both of these guys together. Again, the Miami Heat finished with 72 wins. The 65th NBA Finals, that's the gematria of Miami, Florida. The NBA Finals in the 65th edition of the championship began at Miami, Florida. And that is the whole meaning of that gematria reference. Okay? So it's Tyson Chandler. Tyson equals 93 and 21. It's Dallas, Texas that equals 93 and 21. The Mavericks defeated the Lakers along the way. Lakers equals 66. The gematria of title. The gematria of Lakers is the same Pythagorean gematria as the Dallas Mavericks. Recall? LeBron and Mark Cuban both equal 30. The season began in a 30-year 2010. In revenge fashion, the Dallas Mavericks defeated the Miami Heat. It was a Cinderella NBA title. Nowitzki's NBA title's the same gematria as revenge. He did in fact win the title in revenge fashion. It's revenge. It's Miami, Dallas, the matchup that has gematria 40. Recall that it's Mavs, no three-peat for the Lakers because of the Mavericks. No three-peat partially for the Miami Heat because of the fact that the team from the city of Dallas ended up defeating the Miami Heat. As a result, they only won a repeat. And it is now Nowitzki that is from the city of Dallas. The Mavs were the underdog. The Mavs is 88. Underdog has gematria of 88. Maverick and 2011 NBA Finals both have the same gematrias. What happened the following season? The Miami Heat won the championship with 82 wins for the season. 2011 NBA Finals, Maverick. The Dallas Mavericks defeated Los Angeles along the way. And Dwyane Wade, native of Chicago, Illinois. The Miami Heat defeated the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals of that season. Chicago has gematria of 37. Dwyane Wade returns to the NBA Finals after defeating the Chicago Bulls. And Derrick Rose was the MVP that year. I can do Derrick Rose in the calculator quickly. Rose only competed for the title for one season, really, and then his career came rather to a really quick halt. Sadly for Derrick Rose. Now the team, continuing on, one of the main scripted storylines that really is part of the NBA's manufactured theater is before Game 2 or Game 3, LeBron and Dwyane Wade mocked Dirk Nowitzki's illness before one of the games. Dirk has gematria 42, Mock has gematria 42. Recall that it's Mock and Wade that has gematria 15. This was Wade's second NBA Finals. Both of them in the state of Texas. Texas has gematria 15. How about the gematria of the city of Dallas, Texas, and the mark of the beast? Who are we referring to in the state of Texas? The Miami Heat, the team that everybody hated. The Miami Heat, the whole entire Miami Heat team was created to create this team of superstars, but most of all, supervillains. LeBron wasn't being his true self. He was being an actor, getting all the calls and flopping and just being a really mean villain, having those mean, grunty looks on the court, that the world is out to go get me. Bosh, Wade, and James was the team that everybody hated. This is what is meant by the gematria phrase of Mark of the Beast and Bosh, Wade, and James, and what this whole Miami Big Three symbolized. Dirk's NBA title did in fact come against the Big Three of Miami. That is the legend of Dirk Nowitzki. Mark Cuban's payback against the Miami Heat Big Three never shuts up about the referees. David Stern finds this guy. In the Miami Heat's 23rd season in existence, that was the year of payback. That was the year of payback for Mark Cuban, for the whole Dallas Mavericks organization, and for Jason Terry. Jason Terry was part of this payback. It's the real name of Mark Cuban, Mark Chabaniski, as gematria 59. We are getting really close to the box score to codes. An NBA Finals comeback occurred for the Dallas Mavericks against LeBron James. It's Caron Butler that played for Dallas. Butler, NBA Finals. Jason Kidd was a member of that team. He played in the NBA Finals again. Deshaun Stevenson has the same Pythagorean gematria as the gematria of Heat and simple gematria, which happens to be 34. Brendan Haywood and championship. Almost a complete breakdown. But there are some box scores to break down too. Every single game of the NBA Finals to break down May the 31st up until June the 12th. First of all, the NBA Finals ended on June the 12th. June the 12th, as of the 18th, 18 is the gematria of upset. This was highly considered to be an upset. The Dallas Mavericks were the number 3 seed that season, but they did once again have a lot of veterans. The 2010-2011 season adds up to 41. What is Dirk Nowitzki's number? His number is 41. 2010-2011 was all about, 2010-2011. There it is. Dirk Nowitzki, number 41. You knew that was his season. The 2010-11 season's a 41 season, and that was his jersey number. By the way, 41 is the 13th prime. Another big reason why he ended up facing off against the Dallas Mavericks. And then the final day of the NBA Finals, Game 6 in 2011. This adds up to 49. This is the gematria of Dallas. Without the 20, this is the gematria of Horse. So once again, Horse, gematria 29, and 49 has to do with Dallas having gematria 49. The Heat won 49 games the rest of the way. June the 12th of 2011. Then beginning of the NBA Finals, if I haven't done this already, I'm just going to do that quickly. 67 and 47. And then time calculator, I have to do Mark Cuban's birthday. And first of all, I have to compute his age. 9 years ago. 52, which by the way, 52 is the gematria of prophecy. You know, is this the year that the NBA is going to repay back Mark Cuban? And indeed, that's how it played out. That's the meaning of 52 years of age. His year numerology was 23, and 23 connects a lot to LeBron James in a lot of ways. His first number was what you call 23 with the Cleveland Cavaliers before he joined the Miami Heat. So Mark Cuban's NBA championship in his 53rd birthday, June the 12th of 2011, and then we have his birthday, which is July the 31st of 2011. How much time from the end of the NBA finals to his birthday? 49 days. The same gematria as Dallas. The same date numerology of Game 6. I should say Game 5. Again, not a coincidence. You can play this calculator gematria game here with almost every single player and coach on both teams. What was the time span of Mark Cuban's birthday to the start of that particular NBA season? You can do that. You can do that method as well. There are many avenues where you can apply the date calculator. So if I include the end day of 88, I'd say that has mostly to do with the gematria of underdog. The Dallas Mavericks were. That is the gematria of the Mavs in simple gematria. Let me do the Jet. Jason Kidd. March 23rd. his payback, his rematch against the Miami Heat, and the beginning of the NBA Finals on the date of May the 31st. That's 69 days. That is also the gematria of Texas. If you include the end day, this is 70 days. Once again, it is Nowitzki. That equals 70. Once again, in the calculator to show you. Okay, I thought I had 152 reference there with Dallas's revenge. I have to go take that back. The amount of time from LeBron's birthday to the beginning of the NBA Finals. This is during the 22nd week of the year. 21 prior weeks. That's the gematria of Dallas, Texas in title. But most of all, how do we connect the end of the NBA Finals to LeBron's birthday? What does that really tell us about the script for the season? 23 weeks. I already did so already. So the Mavs' revenge gematria 164 happened on the 164th day since LeBron's birthday. That was Game 6. So funny how some of these long gematria references actually connect to some of the birthdays of some of the biggest stars out there during this NBA Finals. And the last thing I need to do here is just to do the box score of all the respectful games during the NBA Finals here. And so Game 1, Miami leads the series. Nowitzki with 27 points against Miami. Once again, it is Miami that has gematria 27 in the gematria calculator. The point tallies for every game is completely scripted by the code. LeBron had 24 points. That is the gematria of Dirk. Dirk has gematria of 24. Another thing to note with the Dallas Mavericks equaling 66 and LeBron equaling 66 is that Dirk lost the finals 2-4 in 2006. He wins the NBA Finals 4-2 against LeBron in 2011. LeBron is 42. So this is why LeBron wears number 6. Because Dirk Nowitzki won his 6th NBA Finals game to win the championship against LeBron. And he finishes 6-6 total for his NBA Finals record. That's the gematria of the Dallas Mavericks and LeBron. In other words, Dirk Nowitzki won 6 NBA Finals games and he played 12 total. On June the 12th, 6-12 was when the NBA Finals ended. It's actually a really big connection, believe it or not. June the 12th of 2011 is a 13-day. That's gematria of Dallas once again. It shows you how completely scripted the championship is by the Kabbalah code. And then Game 2, Miami Heat score 93 points. They lose. Recall that 93 is the gematria of Dallas, Texas. I have to include a comma. Never mind, I have to scroll down all the way. Dallas, Texas is 93. The 93 points there for Game 2. Series is tied. Nowitzki, 24 points. That's gematria of Dirk. Dirk has gematria of 24. Game 2, Miami takes the lead, 88-86. Mavericks scored 86 points. What happened afterward? The comeback has gematria of 86. Dirk scores 34 points. That is the gematria of Heat. Miami leads the series 2-1. 2-1 has to do with the fact that the series went back to Dallas, Texas. Nowitzki's 34 points. That's the gematria of Heat. And then the last reference for Game 2, or I should say Game 3, is 86 points for the Dallas Mavericks, and the comeback began. Down 2-1. And then on to Game 4. This was the game that LeBron scored 8 points. This was the game that he absolutely threw the NBA Finals. Look at this. 86 points for the Mavericks for 2 consecutive games. That's the gematria of the comeback. The Miami Heat scored 83 points that game. Where's Dirk Nowitzki from? Well, Dirk Nowitzki's a German. He's from Germany. Germany has gematria of 83. Once again, Dirk Nowitzki's the MVP of the NBA Finals. Dirk Nowitzki with 21 points over at Dallas, Texas. That's gematria of 21. And you see right there, for first quarter, the score was tied at 21. That's the gematria of title. You see 21 there one other time. Series is tied at 2-2. 2 wins in 4 games for Dirk. That's the gematria of Dirk Nowitzki. And how about Game 5? The Dallas Mavericks take control. The Dallas Mavericks score 112 points. 112 points against the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat has gematria of 112. And then continuing on with Game 5. June the 9th is a date of 6-9. This is the gematria of Texas. Texas has simple gematria of 69 as shown in the gematria calculator. This, in fact, is indeed the gematria of Texas. Game 5 was indeed played over at Dallas, Texas. This was during a time in which there was a 2-3-2 format. Dirk Nowitzki with 29 points. I believe that has to do with the fact that it is horse that has gematria of 29. I have to go back to Game 4 because, again, that was the game that LeBron James. Another thing to note with June the 7th. This can be written out as the 7th day of the 6th month. As shown before, 76 is the gematria of revenge. This comeback did begin in Game 4. And then Game 6. 105-95. They win the NBA Finals 4-2. Jason Terry, the Jet. Dirk Nowitzki's sidekick. 27 points. That is the gematria of Miami. We see 27, one of the most common point scorers in that NBA Finals. It has to do with the gematria of Miami. And LeBron scores 21 points. We see 21 yet again. That's the gematria of title. 21 points for the Heat in the third quarter. 21 points for the Heat for the Mavericks in the second quarter. The fact that the Miami Heat scored 27 points in the first quarter over at Miami. That's gematria of Miami. But most of all, let's see here, actually. Let me just go down here and see all these scoring runs. So they called a timeout, Game 6, 2011 lead. That's 31 points in an NBA Finals in a 31 year. Then Dallas went on to go on a 21-4 scoring run. 21's the gematria of title. And let's see what else. Any other scoring runs? I'll just click on run and then I'm gonna scroll up there. Dallas finished the game on a 15-3 scoring run. 15 has to do with the fact that it's Texas that has gematria of 15. And the rest of the games, I am sure, were back and forth. Dirk Nowitzki, 26 points he averaged during the NBA Finals. This is, once again, 2006. Adds up to 26, his last NBA Finals appearance. And in comeback fashion, he did lead a really stunning upset of the Miami Heat. And so the Dallas Mavericks win total for the season. 57 wins total. What I like about 57? 57's 131. That's gematria of championship. That is also the gematria of NBA Finals run. This is why they won 57 games. Their 65th win defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in the conference semifinals. Right at that time, you knew the Mavericks were going to play in the NBA Finals against the Dallas native Chris Bosh. They entered the NBA Finals with 69 wins. That is the gematria of Texas has gematria of 69, and then the Dallas Mavericks won a total of 73 games. They defeated the Miami Heat. They sacrificed LeBron in his first year. This was part of the shaming ritual for LeBron moving to Miami, playing the role of villain Dirk Nowitzki, drafted in 1998. 1998 adds up to 27. That's gematria of Miami. And Dirk Nowitzki, his Mavericks won a total of 73 games. Okay, it's not Milwaukee that equals 73. I have no idea why I thought that. I have no idea why I thought Milwaukee equaled 73. I was thinking back to the gematria of Giannis Antetokounmpo in all of my work in relation to this year's NBA Finals. He's exactly 7 foot. 7 has gematria of 65. That was the 65th NBA Finals. Dirk is 84 inches tall. LeBron, born in the year 84. He plays for Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is 84. I can do this all day. I can do this all day. You can do this for any championship video. This is 37 minutes long, but it really shows you in the snapshot just how scripted this all is before every single season. And this is not the exception at all. This is what happens normally throughout the world in the history of professional sports.